Hey guys, it's Allison from AllisonReeves.co and creator of the Monetization Accelerator Program, which is a group program to help bloggers to make more money in less time. And today in this video, I want to talk about how to get more traffic to your site. And I also want to tell you the number one thing that you may not be hearing from other people about what it takes to get traffic and what the low-hanging fruit is for getting traffic to your site. So if this is something that is interesting to you, then you're going to want to keep watching. So when you're starting out as a content creator, trying to make money on the internet, trying to get traffic is probably one of the number one frustrations of really anybody starting a business, but especially if you're a content creator. So I want to talk to you first about my favorite ways to get traffic for a new blog. Now, the first way that I'm going to recommend is Pinterest traffic. Even if you have a niche that doesn't have a giant demand on Pinterest, it's still always going to be the quickest win for getting traffic. Now, when you're using Pinterest, some of the things you may not know about using Pinterest for getting traffic to your blog if you've never done it before are that it is dependent upon having really great content on your site, and it's dependent on Pinterest's search engine optimization. So pinning things randomly isn't as helpful as really nailing down a great SEO strategy for Pinterest and implementing that along with your blog post. My next favorite source of traffic, and kind of the traffic non-negotiable for every niche, is going to be Google search engine optimization. Now, the reason why this is a number 2 for me and not number 1 is because Google is usually not a quick win. If you're starting a niche blog, if you have a really great SEO strategy, if you're really consistent, you can start seeing organic traffic pretty early. I have a site that is only about 6 months old, and I am getting some traffic from Google, but it's not nearly as much as what I'm getting from Pinterest in the same amount of time. So whether you're prioritizing traffic from Pinterest or you're prioritizing traffic from Google, you're going to want to do search engine optimization for both. Now, there's a lot of similarities between how SEO is performed and done on like your research on Pinterest and Google, but obviously they're very different platforms. They're very different search engines. And Pinterest is a search engine, that's its primary function, even though it's a social media tool. But that's why it works for traffic. So make sure you have a really solid plan for search engine optimization on both platforms. A couple of other ways to get traffic early on for your blog. Number 1 is using Facebook organic. Now, it's not going to be a lot, and you really need to have a great messaging strategy to get Facebook organic to work for you. But that said, I usually recommend Facebook organic for like higher ticket offers. And I'll talk about that more in a second. And then my 4th favorite place to get traffic from your blog early on is using Facebook ads. Now, I often hesitate to recommend using Facebook ads because a lot of people, when they hear Facebook ads, they automatically want to go to that little boost button that Facebook is always asking you to promote, and that's not a very great way to run ads on Facebook. Usually when you're running ads on Facebook, you want to be using the ads manager. There's a lot more sophisticated and specific options there for targeting. And if you don't know what you're doing on Facebook ads, if you don't have somebody helping you, I recommend tabling that for now. That said, when you're in a smaller niche, Facebook ads can be a great way, actually when you're in any niche, not a smaller niche, Facebook ads can be a great way to stabilize your business and grow your email list while you're kind of getting Pinterest and Google SEO to work for you. Now, the number 1 thing that you won't hear a lot of people talking about is, first of all, like where you should start with your traffic strategy. And like I said in the beginning, Pinterest is going to be the quickest win for getting traffic for many, many niches, not all niches. However, Pinterest may not be the place you want to start with traffic if you're trying to get the fastest sales. So I want to talk about that a little bit. When you're deciding what main strategy you want to use for your traffic, there's a few things you need to keep in mind. First of all, you need to think about what you're selling. If you are selling a high ticket offer, meaning in my opinion, over $2,000, a lot of people call high ticket over $3,000. I kind of flex on that because I feel like some people, when they're new, $3,000 is like a lot to start with. So I'm okay with you calling it high ticket and easing your way up to a higher price. But when you're starting with a high ticket offer, even though, yes, we eventually want to utilize Pinterest and Google SEO to get your traffic in, you're going to have lower hanging fruit opportunities for sales. And that includes using organic Facebook methods. Now, it is a little harder in some ways, where using Pinterest and blog posts to get email subscribers is very systematic, whereas using organic Facebook methods energetically can be heavier. However, it will lead to sales faster. It can help you prove offers faster. The other thing you want to consider when deciding what traffic to prioritize is what your niche is and how big is your niche. So if you have a very, very narrow niche and you always, like with Pinterest, you can kind of validate like how much search traffic there is on Pinterest, and it might be that you're in a niche that's very competitive and very small. So for example, as a blogging coach, I'm in a niche that is pretty competitive and pretty small. So my Pinterest traffic has kind of struggled to grow organically, whereas my SEO traffic and my Facebook traffic is growing a lot faster. So you always want to think about, what are you selling? How big is your niche? And then you also want to think about how much demand exists for what you do, because it could be that it's just going to be easier for you to jump to paid ads as soon as you've validated your offer through organic methods. And the last thing, which I kind of already alluded to, is like, what is your price point? If you have an offer that is proven, that you feel great about, that costs several $1,000s, using Pinterest traffic is probably not going to be the quickest win for you. And the number one reason for that is because Pinterest traffic tends to be top of funnel. So if you want to start with low cost offers, Pinterest traffic is the way to go. If you want to start with high ticket offers, Facebook organic is going to be the way to go. That's all I have to share for this video. If you guys have any questions, post them in the comments. I still see a bunch of people hopping on and off. Hello, good to see you guys. Happy Wednesday. Did I want to say anything else? I'll pop a link. Am I going to pop a link here? I don't know if I will. Let me know what questions you have, and I'll come back in the comments and respond to anything you guys have. Hope you have a great day, and thank you so much for watching.